Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Tournament Horse Racing. It's brought to you by Broke Eyes Handicapping. I'll be your host tonight. My name is Rich Sharp. Here's what we're doing. We've taken the horse racing calendar, we've broken it up into four separate tournaments throughout the year, and each of those tournaments is going to consist of 10 individual racing days, and that's actually what you're watching tonight is going to be one of those individual racing days. Each of those racing days consists of four individual horse races, and we're going to handicap those races together. Whoever wins the most money actually wins the tournament for that day. We're keeping track throughout that 10 horse racing tournament. So whoever wins the most money after those 10 horse races is the champion of that tournament. Believe it or not, we strung those four tournaments together and we'll have a year-end champion as well. So whoever wins the year-end tournament, that's our year-end champion. All right, before I get too far into this, I always like to bring in the four handicappers or the three handicappers who will be working with me on the show tonight. As I see, one's blinking in, one's blinking out. So I'm going to start on, well, he is the only one who's besides me out here in California, and that's my good friend just to the north of me in Menifee, California, Steve Newsom. How you doing?
Oh, not bad, Rich. Looking forward to some horse racing and some fights tomorrow night. Football in between. So
I
going to
hear
be a
you.
good weekend again.
Yeah, you guys will be shocked to hear I'm actually going to miss the fights tomorrow night. I'm going to miss Kamaru Usman, which I was looking so forward to seeing. I'm going to a Brad Paisley concert though, which is kind of an equal replacement. So before I go too far into my social life, I am going to skip all the way across the country. Normally here in Temecula, California, but now broadcasting to us live from Saratoga, New York. Joe English, my friend, how are you doing?
Well, Rich, it was hot out there today. We're not actually in Saratoga, and that's something we can talk about off the air. We were planning on being there. It's actually about 25 minutes south of there. So, all good. Had fun today. We're hitting them again tomorrow. So, we'll be back.
Last but not least, certainly, he is also all the way across the country, although I have a feeling he might just be in the other room from Joe, my good friend Ray Torado. He's also dialing into us here from Saratoga in New York,
There's
or
Joe.
or just south of it. And I will share with you all that I was supposed to be a part of that party as well. I was the party pooper, but props to Ray and
I
Joe for
know.
keeping up the Three Broke Guys handicapping. I hope you guys have a wonderful time this weekend. Ray, how is it there,
Yes.
man? How are you doing?
Oh, lovely. Saratoga never changes, man. It's a beautiful place. They got some upgrades, and the people are lively. And we miss you, Rich. We miss you, Steve. But we had a couple of old friends, Rob, Teddy, and Glenn. They met us up there, and we had a good time. We saw them for a little bit, and it was fun. Good day, good day. Tomorrow I'll be out of bounds, so looking forward for it. Yeah.
The only
Sounds
words
like
I
you're in a
can
cave.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like you're in a cave, Ray. But I will tell you that the only words I can add to that is I am just so jealous. All right, I'm not gonna dwell on where I should be, but I am gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen with everybody so you guys can see what we're looking at. Oops, you know what? That's actually today's racing card. I will go ahead and reset us and make sure that we are on the start of our pick four. But before we do that, as always, we'll take a look at last week. And last week, surprisingly enough, this is the Summer Stakes Series, and we were down there in Churchill Downs, of all places. They were running the Arlington Million, one of our favorite races. We've handicapped that a number of years on Broke Guys Handicapping, which is now transitioned to tournament horse racing. So we were down there at Churchill Downs to go ahead and handicap the Arlington Million. And boy, did we have a barnstormer going on there between Mr. Newsom and myself. As you see there, I apparently owe Steve about 50 cents at some point in time in the future because that's exactly the amount that I took that week's tournament by, just $22.04. Gives puts the check mark next to my name, and I always appreciate those wins. As I say often on this show, the win does not matter so much. What we're really looking for is those amounts because dollar amounts is what's going to decide our champion. As you see, I'm trying to stretch out there. Steve won't quite let me do it. 50 cents at a time is not going to help me. And I will say to all of you who think, well, maybe that's a big number here, it's not. Joe and Ray are still very much in this one. We've got 4 stakes races left, counting tonight's race, which is going to be at Saratoga in New York, which is where Ray and Joe are, in Saratoga, New York. So you can imagine what order we might be going in tonight. However, as you see there, I've got a little bit of a lead over Steve. Joe's not far behind Steve there, and Ray really just tucked in closely. Again, with 4 races left to go, a lot could still happen here on Tournament Horse Racing, presented to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. Once again, we are at Saratoga in New York. We're going to start off in race number 8. They're going 1 mile and a 16th on the inner turf. It is the Lake Placid Stakes. It's a grade 2. Purse is $200,000 for filly 3-year-olds. And your morning line favorite is right there. You don't have to look too far. It's With the Moonlight, trained by Charlie Appleby and ridden by Louis Saez, 9-5 on the Saratoga morning line. You guessed it. We're just going to go in our New York order there. Actually, Ray, you're going to start us off because you're actually from New York. So go ahead and tell me who you like here in the Lake Placid.
Right. Lake Placid is a New York landmark over there. It's a good race, mile and 16 to the turf. I settled on the inside, kind of inside, number 3, Emin Victor. We get the owners of Michael Dub, Chad Brown, who has 4 to win this race, so she got picked for 104. Last time I had some trouble, lot of trouble. Stumble, everything's wide, and lost by no. So I think if he gets a clean trip, he'll have a good time to get up into the wire. Nice strong workout on August 10th, so I might be ready to just win this race. He went from Lake George to Lake Placid, so he's doing all the lakes, the grade 2, so with Flavor Pratt and boy. So eminent victory for me.
Ray, I'm going to tell you, the echo is so bad on your side, and with that, I actually had a tough time understanding it. What number are you on there?
Number 3.
Number 3. And I'm not sure if that's because Joe and you are in the same room.
Yeah, maybe if Joe was on mute when Ray is talking,
yeah,
it might.
we might be we might be sharing some feedback on that side.
Okay, so when Joe talks, I put mute on. How's that?
All right. And so you're going to go ahead and get to hand off to Joe tonight. With that, we're going in that order because, again, you guys are both there in Saratoga. So we're going, this is going to be going Ray, Joe, and then you'll hear me.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take it over from here as long as everybody can hear me and hopefully there's no echo. It's funny, obviously there's been a little bit of Chad Brown news that was not so positive. And we'll just leave it at that. I actually like one of his horses, like one of the other horses that Ray did not mention, and that's the 5 Dulce Zell. 6-1 in the morning line, and he beat some of the ones who ran in the Lake George, even including the one that Ray mentioned. And it was despite having a little traffic. It wasn't necessarily it was a bad trip. He just got stuck down inside and had to wait, and finally got up in the last strides. And he's got the leading rider at Irad Ortiz. And it's funny, being out here today, you realize how much money he takes. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But being he's 6-1 and With the Moonlight 9-5, I'm going to get Irad Ortiz on a horse that's probably not going to go favorite. Maybe she'll be the second choice. Maybe she'll be 7-2. Maybe she'll be 3-1. But it still beats taking 9-5. And again, Chad Brown fillies on the grass at Saratoga are really always have to be considered. So give me the 5 Dulce Zell.
I'm up next, and I guess I'll just have to sit there and say, damn. I did like the one. The one, as a matter of fact, if you go back and watch our show from a few previous episodes, you will find that I was on With the Moonlight. You know that I have an affinity for Charlie Appleby and for Godolphin and for all of those, but unfortunately, I'm on the exact same horse that Joe ended up on for all the same reasons, in addition to the fact that I do like the Matticat Staples and the fact that the horse was successful overseas. As you guys know, I have a penchant for going east, and that was one of the reasons that I was on the one when she came over from overseas, and now I'm looking at Dulce Zel. I'm looking for a little bit more of a price, and I do like the Irad Ortiz Chad Brown angle. They just hit at a mere 32% together, so I also went with the 5, and I'm going to hand it off to Steve to take us home in this first race.
Well, I couldn't get off the favorite on this one. I'm going with the Moonlight. You know, for all the same reasons you took her last time.
Yeah, no, no, yeah,
Dolphins, it's size and Appleby. You know, won her last race at Saratoga, and decent record on turf, 2-1-1-6.
no, there's just so much like on this combination. Again,
Yeah.
Charlie Appleby, Luis Saez, Godolphin Racing, Frankel is the sire, yada yada yada. This there's just so much to like at this horse, other than the 9-to-5 price tag in this particular one. So I that was the reason I went in the other direction.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and move us along. Well, before I do that, let me go ahead and enter our picks for this particular race. And we are, again, on races 8, 9, 10, and 11 here at Saratoga this weekend. And we will pick up here in race number 9. And they're going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. This is the Smart and Fancy. The purse is $150,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite, once again, is in post number 1. Decent price at 7-2. Change of Control, trained by Michelle Lavelle and ridden by Colby Hernandez, is your morning line favorite there at Saratoga. And this time, instead of it being Joe, or excuse me, instead of being Ray, it is going to be Joe. Joe, you're going to get to go first here again, being there in Saratoga. Saratoga choice.
Sounds fine. Sounds fine, Rich. No worries. I'm on. This is a very interesting race. I did like it a lot. And I'm hopeful that there isn't enough speed. There could be some to be signed on. I gotta think Robin Sparkles has a really good shot to repeat at 6-1. It seems like at least for the last few starts, she always breaks, and she should always be in front. And Javier Castellano, who is probably slumped a little bit before the Saratoga meet, has really had a resurgence. And this one goes out for the other Brown, Bruce Brown, and she won the stakes race as the prep for this. Again, I just think she's going to be in front. It's 5.5 furlongs. There's going to be traffic behind her. There are definitely some interesting horses that could close if it turns out that there's a speed duel in front and Robin Sparkles just doesn't have it. So it's a real interesting race. But like I said, I'll take the speed and I'll take the front runner, and I hope she plays catcher if you can. So give me Robin Sparkles at 6-1 on the morning line.
All right. Well, at least I'm not following you around in this particular one. As I might have mentioned to you guys, I actually did discard my notes just prior to this race. So I'm kind of searching here just to make sure I've got the exact horse that I thought that I wanted. I am on Miss J. McKay, trained by Christopher Clement and ridden by Ira Ortiz. The horse is 0 for 2 here at Saratoga, but does have 2 wins at the distance or 6 tries and 2 wins at the distance here. Hangover Kid, I'm not real familiar with, but the horse was purchased for $300,000 at one point in time. I just picked Madicat Stables in the last one. Here I am again, back to Madicat Stables with the number 6, Miss J. McKay, and I will go ahead and hand off to Steve.
All right, I'm on the same horse as Joe is, Robin Speakers.
Sparkles.
Or Sparkles.
Robin Sparkles.
Oh, well, I abbreviated it on my
Oh, okay.
on my sheet here. Sorry. Yeah, Robin Sparkles. Again, yeah. The Castellano. Sorry, I had a fly. Castellano and Bruce Brown hooked up a few times, 4 times, won once. On Sparkles. But yeah, for everything Joe said. Yeah, horses 3-0-3 at the distance and 6 races. So likes to get a result. Likes the distance. So yeah.
All right, and you are handing it off to Ray,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Toronto.
right, Ray.
Mr. Toronto, go ahead and take us home in the
Right.
second round.
Yes, this race has a lot of. Looks like it has some more speed than usual. Robert Sparkles can get out there. Sarah Harper can get out, but may not be enough. Hopefully, someone will pressure them. Because I like Caravel, who could come off slightly off the pace. Um, I'm gonna throw out the last race. It looks like Gaffleon got into trouble. 7th, 8th, 16th pole, and the horse didn't like it. She was the favorite. And maybe a change to sires could maybe wake her up and give her a better trip. Gaffleon has been a little suspect on riding over here in Saratoga with all these big jockeys. So, you know, um, I'm gonna give her another chance. Caravel for Brad Cox. He switches to sires. Got some good workouts in there on the training track, which we saw today, and it looks beautiful. So let's see if Caravel could bounce back, and hopefully she'll be right there, prompting the pace, and can make a run in this sprint. That better? Yeah. So I think we figured out here with the mute. Okay.
No, no, I heard you. I just don't want to start any shit over the comments on Tyler Gaffleon. I mean, the bobblehead doll's right back there. All right, here we go.
There was no echo, right? That's good.
No, we
No,
solved the
no,
echo
no, no.
problem.
The echo was perfect.
Okay,
It
perfect.
was
That's
just
good. Nice.
it was just a commentary. All right, I'm going to be up first next here in this next race. I know you guys probably think you hear about me too much on this show, but this is the feature race. It is race number 10. It's the reason that Joe and Ray are there at Saratoga. They're going 1.25 miles on the main track. It is the Alabama Stakes, Grade 1, purse is $600,000 for Philly 3-year-olds. And your morning line favorite is here in post number 4, Nest, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz. And she is 1-2 on the morning line, and oh yeah, she's every single bit of that. Um, I definitely had some trouble handicapping this race because she is, well, her and Secret Oath have kind of proven themselves to be so much the better horses so far in their 3-year-old seasons. I did decide to go ahead and veer outside of my comfort zone in this particular race, so I did not take Nest. I did not take Secret Oath. I was not looking for the proverbial $5 payout on this show, and I went ahead and settled on Gerrymander, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Joel Rosario, out of Into Mischief. The horse is maybe more of the right now horse, if you like. Had won back there at the Tempted in November of 21. Took time off. Did not do so great in the 8 Bell Stakes. But as we often do on this show, we like to draw a line through that race. Comes right back in the Mother Goose and wins by 3 lengths. That's Gerrymander, and I believe that horse was kind of important to Steve in winning one of the races, or Joe in winning one of the races recently. So I decided to go with the
Me.
Fred. There we go.
It's me.
Joe.
Hey, Rich, just a note. Joel Rosario did not ride today because he was not feeling well.
Oh, okay.
So again, there's no more information other than that. We can't assume that he is. We can't assume that he is, and I guess until we get to the track tomorrow, we won't know. But it was one we were wondering about why he took off all his mounts today, and it was just reported on Twitter that he just wasn't feeling well. I'm hopeful that he'll be back tomorrow, but just so that everybody knows, that's what's
Me,
going on.
me too. I'm going to hand it off to Steve on that comment.
Yeah, I'm on the same horse, Rich. Yeah, Gerrymander.
Why am I not surprised by
Looks
this?
looks pretty fast right now, so yeah, I don't have much else to add.
Mr. Torado, your turn.
Right. Yeah, Nest looks really, really tough.
She
But
really does.
I mean, but you know what? Saratoga. Things have happened up here that people cannot believe what's happened. So, and that thought, I'm a little down in the money, so I'm gonna take a shot here with nostalgic. We are
Ooh.
old Dolphin. I noticed that Jose Ortiz is back on board for the three lifetime wins, so maybe he knows something that he can ride his horse and maybe get to know her. He's gotten to know her, and he's won. I mean, by 7, by 6, won the. I mean, they haven't been the greatest races, but they won the Gazelle on her, going the same
Mhm.
distance. The Kentucky Oaks, a little trouble there, and got blown out at the other Oaks, CCA Coaching Club Oaks. But then that was Alvarado, so maybe he wasn't that aggressive. I know he's a very aggressive rider, Jose. So let's see. Take a shot 12-1. Maybe we could pull up the upset here.
I was with you, Ray.
Joe?
Actually, I was really close to picking this horse.
Hmm.
Go
All
ahead,
right,
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, no, I'm just hitting unmute so that you guys can hear me. It's funny. I'm throwing Ray a curveball right now because I actually mentioned this horse earlier today, and I said, yeah, I just don't think Secret Oath is on Nest's level at a mile and a quarter, and I'm taking Secret Oath anyway. It's Wayne Lucas, and I'm not gonna put anything past that son of a bitch. That guy can train, and if anybody can train that horse to get a mile and a quarter and beat Nest at a mile and a quarter, it's Wayne Lucas. And I think tactically they're gonna try something different. Maybe she was just way too close to the pace last time. Nest was a lot closer to the pace than she normally is. What I'm hoping is that neither of those things happen, and that just like in the Kentucky Oaks, Secret Oath gets the jump on Nest and maybe tries to get that spot before Nest gets there, and Secret Oath is the hunted, not the hunter. Because if she's trying to run down Nest, that ain't gonna happen. She's got to be in front of Nest at the quarter pole or at the eighth pole if she's gonna have any chance of winning. Like I said, I'm just thinking the change of strategy is gonna happen tomorrow, and that both of them are going to be a little more off the pace because it's that Calumet horse that I told Ray to bet on tomorrow because this way Calumet doesn't ruin his whole weekend again like usually happens up there. So give me Secret Oath at 4-1. I wasn't going to take Nest at 1-2 anyway.
Saving $4 for She's Keen. So
Nobody, yeah, nobody on the favorite, nobody on the best female 3-year-old female in the country. But
Well, I understand. Well, I understand it from our perspective, Rich.
yeah,
You make it would
yes,
it would make more sense for you to be on the favorite than the
um,
rest of us because we're all chasing you, and it's not like we're close.
no, I understand. Don't get me wrong. All right, we're going to finish up here in race number 11, not a stakes race. They're going a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. This is a claiming race. Purse is $50,000 up to $8,700 if you're a New York State bred filly. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 3 races. I'm sorry, it was not for fillies. It is for foaled or other. And your morning line favorite is there in post number 7, and I believe it is pronounced Aviano, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz. 3-1 on the Saratoga morning line. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you're going to be up first here in the
Yeah,
finale.
I'm not going to catch up with you. Keep picking favorites and horses you pick. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the favorite here, Aviano, the 7. I read Ortiz, Todd Fletcher winning at 25% or so. I think the sheet I had, I thought said 25%. Anyway,
Oops.
and I read, of course, winning at 20% on turf, and the horses won 2 races on turf, got 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and has won at the distance also. So yeah, I can see why it's the favorite, I suppose.
Mr. Torado, what do you got to say?
we experienced something today. Um, Later in the card, there was a speed horse running, and we thought maybe she'll be hooked up in a speed duel or whatever. And she has some races where she just kept going and going, and she actually went all the way today, so at a big price. So in that thought, I'm picking Barnegat Light, 12-1 with Junior
Oh, there
Alvarado,
you
number
go.
8, because just she's got speed. She had her prep in Saratoga, I would think, coming from was that Prairie Downs? Or, yeah. She ran good. It just kept on. She was headed, and she kept on. So I lost by a length and a quarter. So you know, same distance, same class, a race under her belt. Let's see how she holds up now. Maybe she can do it. I forget the horse name would say, but it was the in the ninth race. But anyways, Barnegat Light for me. Joe, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Other
Again,
other
just
side of,
unmuting. Yeah,
yeah.
the horse's name was Merthin Merriman, if I remember correctly. Uh, just so that you know, Rich, we're at 43.53. I actually went with the second choice. The horse is the number 4, Wicked Fast, at 7-2. Horse drops into the non-winners at 3, lifetime beaten claimers for the first time after winning an allowance race 2 back at Belmont. And the rider that was aboard for that allowance win shows up again tomorrow in the saddle, Jose Lascano. And again, it's funny because we were talking and we were talking about the depth of the jockey colony. It's like Jose Lascano has like 11 wins and he's like 9th in the standings. It's just so hard to win races up
Ridiculous,
here.
yeah.
I mean, it's funny you win 11 races and you only 11 races, but at Saratoga that's still not all that bad. Like I said, so give me the 4, give me Wicked Fast at 7-2 for Jorge Abreu and Jose Lascano, and I'll hand it off to Rich.
I did not hit on the favorite in this particular race. I went one inside the favorite. I went for Barclay Tag. He's got Saratoga Flash. I've got Joe and Ray, 2 of my closest friends. They're in Saratoga Flash, however you want to, describe it. Javier Castellano has not had a sensational season, but he still is, 19% on the season for the year. Laubin, we always talked about Uncle Mo being a fantastic sire. Now he can actually be a grandsire. We're actually seeing him the progeny of Uncle Mo having progeny here in the races. About 3 races back, the horse did win there at Belmont, going a mile and a 16th in an allowance race for non-winners of 1. That had 9 horses in that field. Came back out of those 2 races, did not necessarily put up big figures, but was competitive in both races. And I thought in this particular case that Saratoga Flash had a definite chance to go ahead and upset the field. So I went with the 6. All right, everybody take a look at their picks as I've got them in there. Just make sure that I've got your numbers correct before we go in.
Yeah, looks good here.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing and I will come on back to you. All right, well, Joe and Ray in particular, I'm hoping you guys have a fantastic weekend. I really hope to see some fantastic pictures from Saratoga. So sorry I couldn't make that trip with you guys. Going to be a big disappointment for me. But again, hopefully someday in the future I get my act back together and I can come join you guys on our horse racing vacations. Anybody got anything they want to add? In particular, you
Let's hope
two
so.
from on site there at Saratoga?
Well, other than it being really hot, it's. I mean, it actually did rain tonight, believe it or not. After we had dinner, we noticed that on our way to the car, actually, the ground was wet. So it did rain, but other than that, it's just hot and crowded.
Not completely surprising. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight on tonight's show. Again, I'm your host, Rich Sharp, for Joe English and Ray Torado on site there at Saratoga Racetrack. Steve Newsom hanging out with me down here in Menifee, California. Thank you for watching Tournament Horse Racing. Again, it's presented by Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck, everybody, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
It's nachos.